So, yeah, I've seen the FNAF movie. So what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here, and, welcome to a different kind of video. This is one I wasn't originally gonna make until I saw a comment, I think it was on Instagram. Someone basically said, hey Ryan, are you gonna drop your review of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? And I thought, you know, that's actually a really good thing I could do. Still wearing some of the attire, which I actually went to the premiere in. There's a couple of pictures that you guys are probably seeing on screen right now. It was actually an amazing little experience. I went down to London and I was able to watch the movie before the official release in cinemas. Had an amazing time there, but the main attraction was actually watching the film, getting to see all of it really from beginning to end, and it was an incredible experience, and also a very emotional one for me, I'm not gonna lie. Before we get into talking about this, I'm gonna say this video is gonna have many spoilers. This is a spoiler review. You can expect me to talk about all of the plot. You can expect to hear about the kills and stuff. Do not watch this until you have seen the movie for yourself if you do not want things spoiled. This is your major warning, okay? Past this point, it's about to get real messy, because some of those animatronic deaths were kind of wild, I ain't gonna lie. Also, there's probably gonna be things that I miss. I was like writing down notes when I was on the way back from London to actually record this video. I was so excited to just speak about the plot, so I've got some notes. Expect, however, though, as usual, me to miss random things that probably end up meaning a lot, okay? I am gonna miss things, but I would also love to hear your guys' comments down below. It feels like the olden days, you know, like get those theory talking stuff going, guys. Share what you think about the various things once you see the movie. Like, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it, then come back here. I want to see those comments. I'm excited to see what you think. Just realized as well, the notes on my computer are literally a jumbled mess, so I'm probably going to be jumping through the timeline so randomly. Also, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more stuff like this, you know exactly what to do. Hang on a sec. Think we're good? That was kind of weird, though. That was strange. So the main thing to start this video off, I want to talk about the overall plot of the film. Very kind of loosely. I don't want to go too in-depth. Like, it's the more theory stuff and the more secretive things that I really want to focus on, because that's what my brain is wired to. The plot for the movie was really good. As a basic plot, we follow Mike Schmidt, and basically his life. We learn a lot about his past, which seems to be fairly troubled. There's a lot that happened to him when he was younger, and it's definitely carried over to present day. He lives with his sister, Abby, also, and the parents, they don't seem to be too much in the picture. There's a lot that happened back there. Bad stuff happened with the father. I don't think the mother was mentioned at all in the movie. I may have missed it. It definitely wasn't explained. And the family members themselves, they weren't talked about a whole bunch, which I think is actually very interesting. And if we know Scott and the Five Nights at Freddy's style, it's probably intentional, and I've got some ideas what that might mean. Mike, though, is trying to kind of do well for himself. Him and Abby, they seem to be in kind of, they're stuck in a rut, we'll say that. They have, you know, notices pinned to their house, like they're struggling to pay the rent. There are other family members also trying to intervene because they know Mike is in a bad place. I forget the family member, but someone is trying to take custody of Abby away from Mike because they know that he's also in a bad spot, and they're also trying to further like sabotage Michael's situation by actually getting other people on the side to, for example, once he finds a job, go ahead, sabotage it so it looks bad, and then the court sees that, and then they hand over the custody of Abby, his sister, to this other family member who is honestly a real jerk in the film, and they're portrayed to be that way. We gotta go back though to Mike Schmidt. Very early on in the movie, it's revealed that Mike definitely has some form of PTSD, and he's having to take medication in order to try and cope with the things that have happened to him very early on in life. He came from a loving family at one point in time. They would go on trips together, they would enjoy camping, and they just looked like the typical family you would want to see, a happy, loving family. But then something happened to Mike's younger brother. His brother name is Garrett. He went missing, it appears, when they were at some kind of nature park retreat. Parents asked Mike to go and find his brother, of which once he actually did, he realized he wasn't anywhere close by, and the last thing Mike saw was Garrett in the back of a car being driven away from their family resort. Garrett was actually abducted. He was kidnapped by this mysterious person in the car, and Mike is trying to know and realize and remember who this person is. Even though there was no visuals on this guy, he doesn't know who this is. This troubles him basically throughout most of the movie. This interferes with like the jobs he tries to get. He's always kind of troubled by this past. We actually see a scene where he's working as like a mall cop, and he seems to be a regular around the place. Everyone knows him. Then there's a scene with some child who gets dragged away by some like father figure or some person, and he's very kind of angrily dragged away, and the kid seems in distress. Mike immediately jumps into action, and without really knowing the situation or anything like that, he catches up. He proceeds to tackle this dude into a water fountain, and he lays in on this dude like fists are actually raining down on this person who is in the fountain in the water. Everyone is just looking absolutely shocked. Mike is not. He seems like he's in a different world. The tunnel vision really sets in until the kid starts screaming, "Dad, Dad." So even though Mike obviously had a flashback to what happened to Garrett, and it let him intervene in this thing, trying to beat this dude up, that was just actually a father with a child. And the whole scene, I believe, gets Mike fired from his workplace. So Mike is out of a job. He's in a bad spot. He needs something to try and get some form of money in this house. He's got eviction notices lining up. He's got family issues in the background. He needs to try and make himself look better. He needs to improve things. That is when he goes to some kind of job application place. Now, I don't know what the name of the alias of the dude who he's speaking to is, but it is Matthew Lillard. And yeah, I forget the name. It's on his desk though, man. Oh, I feel bad for forgetting this, but it is not William, okay? That's basically that's the main thing. He's talking to this guy trying to find a new job, and then he lets him know about a gig where he's got to work night shifts. And this was a problem actually for Mike, because who's gonna look after Abby, right? Like, he always has this babysitter figure coming and helping out. That's whilst he's working in the day, but now he'll need someone to stay overnight whilst he's going to work in this new thing, this new job that might line up, might not. And he realizes he can't do that. Like, he can't take the gig. No one's there to look after Abby. Then he realizes he doesn't really have much of a choice with the stress of life kind of, kicking him in the backside. He needs some form of money. He's got to get this thing going. And so he takes a job, and it happens to be at a rundown old pizzeria with most of the things still inside, because apparently the owner is extremely nostalgic for the past, and he remembers and just wants to relive those glory days of when Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was this amazing pizzeria. Families all go in here. Everyone loves it. Whilst the exterior isn't the same as, what it used to be back in the day, the interior is mostly kept to how it was. It's complete with animatronics. It's got all of the good stuff, and it just looks like an amazing place. Like, if you close your eyes or you squint whilst in there, you can almost hear the kids laughing and the amount of fun that was had there once upon a time. Abby, though, in the background seems to have this kind of thing going on where people think she has some kind of issue. She's always talking about imaginary friends, and she loves drawing all of the time. Even before Mike has this job, she has these imaginary friends who Mike actually sits on one of them in the room, and she's talking for them, saying like, oh, he called you an idiot for doing that or saying something. So these are friends, these are real friends that she sees and feels. And as the movie does go on, we soon learn that this isn't so much of an imaginary thing at all. When Mike is actually working at this new pizzeria, this is when the first instance of sabotage tries to come into play, which I was actually talking about before, where the other family member, they hear about Mike getting this new job, and they want to try and wreak havoc on him. They want to make him lose this job, so he's going to lose custody of Abby and his life is going to fall apart. But that person doesn't care about Mike. They just want the custody of Abby. Mike has been using this babysitter who seems to be a really nice lady. She looks after Mike, she looks after Abby, should I say, and she does look after Mike as well, making sure Abby always has someone when he's busy at work. But it turns out she is actually in with some other people on this whole sabotage act. She's almost doing some recon to make sure that, when Mike's at work or when he's not at work, that's when they can move in. So she's in with these crooks that are trying to make Mike's life bad. And so these crooks, they do what they think they gotta do, break the place up. They break in to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and they start destroying this place. Like, it is quite the show, and they actually smashed the portrait that me and the guys are on, which, felt kind of bad, but also thanks for the close-up in the movie. Long story short, the animatronics, as we know, they are not happy about this. They have souls inside of them, and they are watching these people destroy this place, and they ain't having it, man. They ain't having it. But long story short, we get to see finally how aggressive these cute, cuddly animatronics can be, and it's a bloodbath. Like, they actually go in. Some of these deaths that we actually get to see, it was actually shocking in the cinema. You heard gasps when a specific one happened, which I'm going to talk about. You see the cupcake go in, you see Bonnie wreak havoc, but the craziest one comes at the very end, bro. It's, oh my, just recounting, I can't believe they did this. The spirit of Freddy lures one of the bad crooks to the back area. They're trying to be like, yo, follow me, come this way. They're confused, there's a kid in this abandoned establishment. What's this kid doing here? They're confused. It's the spirit within Freddy luring this lady into a back area where, they want to try and trick them. They want to take them out, and boy, she gets taken out. So she gets up close on Freddy. She's trying to see, like, I heard the voice come within him. Like, it sounds like it's from within the suit or something. She's spooked, like, what's going on here? And as she gets right up in Freddy's face, no word of a lie, a hand reaches for her, grabs her, pulls her halfway in Freddy's mouth, and the mouth chomps down, and you see her lower half completely disconnected from her body. Like, they straight up show that for every piece of detail, just to show, like, how crazy these animatronics can be, man. Someone gets split in half by Freddy's mouth. Before this as well, I forgot to mention, like, there's other hints about something kind of, sinister going on in this establishment. We do see clips of a previous night guard who is working in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, just doing their thing, and it shows these animatronics also kind of going, like, bad on this dude, even though he's just doing his job. So whilst these crooks broke in, in, they had a reason to get taken out. There was a night guard before that who was just doing the day shift, or should I say the night shift, looking after this place just to keep it up and running, even though no one's actually being here, even though no one was actually visiting. And it shows that the animatronics, they can almost change, it seems like, and he gets captured. He gets put in this like kind of torture device type thing, and we see this torture Freddy mask come up on this dude, and needless to say, the night guard gets taken out. And this is before, by the way, Mike has his job. This is the previous night guard this happens to. So there seems to be something running in this establishment where people who work here, there is someone still controlling the animatronics and, you know, turning the cogs of this establishment, and they are malicious. They are killing the people who are working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza just out of ill intent, just to do the damage and just be mean, right? Like, I mean, they're killing someone. I'm just called a killer mean. As time goes on with the story, though, obviously, this lady who gets taken out, aka was Mike's babysitter, she is no longer around, and Abby has been keen to want to visit this place too. She wants to see what it's all about. She has this pull to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and Mike needing to do his job. Like, the babysitter no longer picking up because she's, you know, she needs to pick up her lower half, by the way. Mike has to bring Abby into work, and he has to, you know, look after her in there. And that's when Abby gets this much closer connection. We can almost see that these imaginary friends, she seems to see them in the animatronics and things like that. Like, she has this connection with them, and it instantly, I'm not sure if it's the first time, I think it is, she's instantly sort of playing with them, getting hugs with the animatronics, introducing Mike to them, who is understandably freaked out. These 8-9 foot animatronics are playing with little Abby, and they're being so delicate with her. But the aggression towards Mike was insane when they first saw him. Like, they were ready to take him out in front of Abby until she kind of distilled the situation. What it is worth knowing as well, and what I'm going to add, is during all of this time, Mike is almost having these dreams. He believes in this dream theory, which I believe loosely is like, you can almost imagine some kind of event, and I think in the dream you can change it. I'm actually going to search it now. Basically, within these dreams, he keeps dreaming about the same night where he watched Garrett get abducted, and he's trying to learn more about the situation because he was there. Like, what did he not see, or what does he not remember from that day? He wants to know more about who took Garrett. That's his main kind of life objective with this point on. But it seems like since he gets to the establishment, there's almost an interference within his dreams. There's a way for him to communicate with what appears to be the souls trapped within each of the animatronic suits. So the dreams become a bit more vivid, and he starts to see these kids, and he's trying to actually chase them down. He thinks, you know, these kids must have seen something too. As time goes on within the movie, he soon learns that these kids that he's been seeing in his dreams, they're not so imaginary, as Abby has actually been drawing them. Whether or not she's been drawing them from the establishment or they've always been with her, we don't, or I can't remember at least. There are pictures almost one for one of what they're wearing in Mike's dreams. Abby is sketching these things out perfectly. Mike starts to believe Abby is not imagining these things from that point on. She starts realizing, you know, Abby is able to communicate with these ghosts within the suits, and she is able to almost pass messages to and from, and Mike starts to become very interested. And this is where Abby and Mike actually form a closer bond, because they're a bit distant before, you know, they didn't see eye to eye. Mike was impatient, always angry, but he starts to believe, and he learns that he does really love his sister in all of this, despite the anguish and things, because there is a sequence actually within the movie where the spirits in Michael's dream, they try and bargain with Michael. Basically, since he started bringing Abby to work and him and the animatronics, or should I say her and the animatronics, they began to form this closer bond. They have fun together. The animatronics realize that they like Abby, and they want Abby to be around. At the same time, they know the information on, you know, Mike's missing brother. They know who took him. They know deep down what actually went down here. And so what they try and do is they try and bargain with Mike, and they do it by basically saying, if you hand us Abby, if you allow us to take Abby to become almost one of us, they don't explicitly say that, they just say trade Abby, what we will do is we'll give you the information on who took Garrett all that time ago. And initially he actually agrees to this, and it seems like the spirits, you know, they're all happy. Obviously he's handing over Abby, but it's soon learned that Mike doesn't really think this through. He's just so desperate to find, like, what happened to Garrett. You know, he wants to get to the bottom of this, that he didn't think about the fact he was giving over Abby's life just for this piece of information, and what he was actually getting wasn't what he wanted anyway. Mike wanted Garrett to never disappear, and that's impossible. You can't change the past. And what the spirits bargain was every dream he has. He will dream of that one day when him, Garrett, and his family were all just enjoying themselves, and he can live in that blissful moment, but it will only ever be a dream. Once Mike wakes up, he's gonna realize reality is still the way it is, but during that sleep, those moments of peaceful sleep, he's gonna have that great reoccurring dream almost over and over again. But he realizes after making that deal, it's a bad one to make, so he instantly tries to retract the deal. But by that point, he's already said yes to the spirits, and it's too late. They lock that one in because they want Abby. What he says goes instantly. There ain't no turning back from that one, and that's a bit of an unfortunate thing because then that creates a bit of a contrast and an issue between the animatronics and Mike, because the animatronics, they want to lure Abby back there. They want to take Abby to become one of them, but Mike realizes what deal he's gotten himself in for, and it's a bad one. After that, there is a brief kind of fight sequence almost with these animatronics when he goes back to the establishment, and this is in his dream, by the way. There seems to be a strange crossover with his dream, so if he hurts himself in the dream, it will cross over to real life, so there is an element of like, there's something else happening there. Even though he's in a dream, he's almost witnessing and feeling what's happening. He goes back there, he tries to bargain with these kids, the souls within the suit, and they ain't having it, man, and they prove it, and they go crazy on him in this dream. They are slashing at him, you know, the Foxy spirit is actually slashing him with the hook, the Chica, all of them. They are going in, and they are, they're showing Mike that, no, he ain't getting back with this one, and they injure him that bad that he has to actually be taken away, and this is actually where it leads on to another point of another character I'm still yet to discuss, and that is Vanessa. Vanessa is a cop in the film. She seems to, you know, at first we feel like she just patrols this place, and, you know, she's doing her round, she sees a new security guard, she wants to introduce herself, but there's also a little something going on in the back, because Vanessa, she seems a bit too comfortable in this establishment, and it is kind of learned that, you know, as a child, she loved Freddy Fazbear's Pieces. She loves the magic of this place. It's a joyous experience every time she's here. She absolutely just flourishes once she's in this place, and she shows Mike all the cool ropes. Like, she shows these guys, you know, when you press the Showtime button, which is on the side in the main room, they do this great little performance. It's all kind of choreographed in this, the animatronic mechanical way. They give the show of their life, and she's even wanting to, like, dance, get down to it. Like, so you can see that as a child, she used to relish this place, man. She used to absolutely adore it. As time goes on, you kind of learn that Vanessa is, she starts giving these small hints to Mike about, you know, oh, this place is cool. Just, you know, do your job. Don't do anything else. Just do your job. Keep this place clean. That's all you need to do, right? Don't do anything else, okay? Don't look too deeply. You don't need to. This is where issues start arising. This is when the cop, Vanessa, she realizes that Mike is bringing Abby to this establishment, and Vanessa is able to see sort of Abby's connection with these animatronics and how much fun she's having here. You know, like, they want to build like a fort in the middle of the pizzeria room. Vanessa's all game for it. You know, Mike is kind of standoffish until Vanessa's like, I think a table would go sick there. So she's like, she wants to play game with these. It's during this time that we start to learn Vanessa has, you know, a couple of quirks about this place. When she sees one of the gashes on Mike's arm, I can't remember if this is the correct instance of it, but during this time, she kind of takes Mike back to one of the other rooms where she kind of talks and says like, oh, you shouldn't be bringing Abby here. This can be dangerous for a girl like this. And when we're in this back area, we actually see this other suit of this other animatronic, which I believe is from one of the Five Nights at Freddy's books, and the animatronic is named Ella. It's this really, really like uncanny valley doll-like animatronic, which has all of the kind of innards exposed in his back area, completely slumped, lifeless. There's nothing in this suit, but what it shows us is the initial spring lock feature. Vanessa with a broom shows Mike like what's going on here, because he's curious. He's looking at this thing, getting ready to poke around until she makes him like stand back. She's like, hold on, you don't want to do that. And she shows him what the spring locks do by pushing like a broom in there, and it breaks that thing so easily. She explains the spring locks were a feature so people could perform inside of these things once upon a time, even though it's very unsafe. Like, you got to be very careful in there, but she shows the danger of how these suits could be. Mike gets kind of angry, saying like, oh, you know, why didn't you tell me about this with me bringing my younger sister here? She could get hurt here. But she seems more annoyed, like, you need to stay out of this place. Why are you even bringing here in the first place? It's like she knows something is likely to happen, but we don't really know what is going on. It's just this hint about something that's gonna happen. Cutting back to the point where I explained the animatronics had this sort of all-out duel with Mike about the dream theory once he had handed Abby over to them. This is when things become a problem, because Mike gets so injured in the pizzeria, he actually passes out, and Vanessa finds him, and she has to take him to a close-by sort of emergency hospital thing. She has to patch him up so he's all good. During this time as well, Mike actually does initially heed Vanessa's warnings, because she gets very heated about like Mike bringing Abby to work. She's like, I will shoot you if you bring her. Like, she's that serious. She's trying to make sure he doesn't bring her. So this is the following night where Mike is getting injured. Abby isn't here at this moment. It's just him. Basically, Mike had to call upon this evil family member who's trying to get in custody of Abby to look after her on the evening. It was the only thing he could do so he could keep his job, listen to Vanessa's warning, and this is how this family member can get back into Abby's life, even though Abby hates this lady. She wants to live with Mike, even though they have their differences. So in the story, this is what we have right now. Mike has been injured in the establishment. Vanessa finds Mike, takes him away, which, by the way, way, in that sequence, after the animatronics, they take him down, he gets chased down by Foxy, blacks out, and wakes up in that same torture chair I was talking about with the first security guard, with Torture Freddy coming down on this dude's face, slowly and slowly, like these blades are spinning, it's gonna mince his face if it gets there, but he does manage to break out, and it seems like after he uses all of his might to get out of that sequence, that's when Vanessa maybe finds him passed out in the back area. But yeah, Mike, no longer in the establishment, he's over here. Abby is at home with this other family member, but the animatronics seem to know where Abby lives, and this is where we finally see Golden Freddy. That suit is being possessed. Whether it's real, whether it's not, we don't actually know. Maybe it's like a spirit form because the way that animatronic can move around is creepy, but there's also some like real life instances of it interacting. Golden Freddy finds this lady who's now looking after Abby though, and he does not take any time getting to the point, and it seems like he takes her out for good, by the way, before then communicating with Abby like, hey, come on, like we got some fun to have, you know, trying to lure her back to the establishment where Mike no longer is. He's still injured, by the way. Abby sees Golden Freddy, or Freddy, which I think she believes is, she doesn't know it's Golden Freddy, and then they go back to the establishment. She actually does see, by the way, this family member's body laying lifelessly on the floor, but it's obscured by a table. Golden Freddy kind of tells her she's just sleeping, you know, she's just passed out. We don't need to worry about that. And so they go back to the establishment. And once she gets in there, that's when Golden Freddy disappears, and Abby's in there all on her own. Mike made a deal with these animatronics to hand over Abby in place of having that reoccurring dream where he's going to see Garrett and his family members enjoying this beautiful, lovely experience every time. And the animatronics, they know that, and it's too late. Mike already made the deal. So we see her partying with these guys. You know, they're having a good time with the animatronics. Everything's so great. And then Chica's like, come on, let's go back here. Let's go. This is when, you know, we're going to have more fun. Abby, by the way, doesn't know that this deal has been made. So she's walking in the back area of this establishment with Chica, and they get led back to the very back area of this room, and we see this doll again, this doll animatronic, this creepy looking thing, chest exposed, opened up, like all the spring lock ready to just welcome another performer in there, a performer. This is when Chica changes for a moment, and it seems like she picks up Abby and she doesn't let her go. Abby's struggling trying to break free while she doesn't want to go in this thing, but Chica, she's doing what the agreement was. Fortunately, by this point, Vanessa has explained to Mike that what might go down in here, because Vanessa knows about the ghost. She knows a lot about this place, and Mike is curious. Mike's like, what's going on here? How do you know all this stuff? And this is where we learn that Vanessa is actually William Afton's son. And this is where the plot gets kind of crazy. So this Vanessa character, she's been warning Mike to stay back. This makes a whole lot more sense right now. It's like, whoa, okay. Vanessa's not wanted Mike to work here, and definitely not wanted Abby brought here, because she knows about the murders that's been going on. She knows her dad is like this, and he's been doing this for decades by this point, successfully, and always getting away with it. This is something I'm curious about, because she gets very angry at Mike specifically for doing this. All of the other security guards, they've been fine, you know, she's kind of let them, you know, get perished, and then she'll help her dad almost clean this mess up so no one sees or knows about anything going on. But it's like, once Abby is introduced, she gets very angry at Mike, and she's trying to discourage everything about him bringing Abby here, or Abby being able to ever get there. So I don't know if she thinks, or if there's something with the kids when maybe William is able to lure a child back there, because I know it's the animatronics, let me explain. Maybe when a kid is actually stuffed in under one of these suits, they become supernatural, whereas these other night guards, they seem to be almost like kind of throwaways. They're murdered and just kind of tossed aside. So do the child animatronics have, or the children in this world, have some sort of extra power if they are, you know, stuffed into a suit or something? I don't know. Or it could simply be that Vanessa knows her dad did kill 5 children back in the day. It could be as simple as that, and she's just got sort of like her own form of trauma in relationship. She's really angry and doesn't want that to happen. Either way, Mike is patched up, but Mike knows he has no time to stay in this sort of patch up place, and Vanessa knows that too, but she doesn't want to go back there. She says she can't help Mike. Maybe it's to do with seeing her dad actually. She thinks she's gonna see her dad kill them, and she won't have the ability to stop. Maybe she has some attachment to her dad. Maybe because she loved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza so much, she doesn't want to hurt or harm William Afton. Like, she wants to leave him alone, and it could be a complicated family matter which isn't entirely elaborated on. Mike gets back just in time, though. He's able to pretty much subdue the animatronics using tasers and other sort of electrical prodding devices. He shuts them down cleverly, and he's able to just about stop Chica from taking out Abby, which is a very close call, by the way, and it's pretty stifling. So Mike hugs Abby. This whole, you know, beautiful family moment comes up, but we realize they got to get out of this place right now. But the place is all locked down. Even though all of the animatronics have been subdued, there is no danger, apart from Foxy, who is still kind of looking around this place. But it's at this point where the main guy, I'm talking about William Afton in the Spring Bonnie suit, man, the famous suit that he's already taken out 5 kids, luring them to the back room, doing what he does, and we've seen the back room in this movie on what might go down there. So Mike and Abby are trying to escape, but as said before, this is where Spring Bonnie, inside of that, William Afton makes his grandiose appearance. They realize they're locked in here, and Mike is being hunted by William Afton. So what Mike does is he makes Abby go ahead and hide. Abby's got to deal with hiding from Foxy during this time, who's still looking around the establishment. And this is where William Afton greets Mike. And we'll learn a bit more about, like, you know, this character who initially helped Mike get this job. There's more of a reason behind it than what meets the eye, because Mike has been trying to find this person who murdered and took his younger brother. We don't know if he's murdered, by the way, but we know he was kidnapped. In one of these dream sequences, when Mike asks the child, who took my younger brother? One of the people, they disappear and they leave behind in the dirt the trace of a spring Bonnie suit. It's just a bunny costume. But then we see William Afton wearing this thing, and we know this was who took Garrett decades ago. Before Freddy Fazbear's Pizza may have even been a thing, we don't know. Like, this could have been his first kill, and maybe he wasn't even stuffing the kids. He was toying with something he knew. Mike and William, they have this grandiose duel. There's a big fight between them. But what we realize in all of this talk is it's like, why are the children trying to, you know, take out, for example, Abby? Why would they be so mean? Why do they kill the security guards and stuff if they're so sweet and they like playing and stuff? William has this control over them where he's able to make them forget all of the past, like what's good, what's bad, how they became to be these animatronics. As far as they're concerned, this is all they know in their life. They've always existed like this. And what actually is the main source of this is on the back of this sort of establishment, there's a huge wall of so many different pictures of drawn. They're all happy memories with children who are enjoying themselves. And in the very middle, there's a picture of this spring Bonnie costume with the actor inside of it. Obviously, William Afton and 5 happy kids, all, I think their hands are all linked. Like, they look happy. What we learn is this back row seems to be the memories of these animatronics and what they think actually was their past. You know, they were these happy children. Something happened to them. They don't know what actually happened. They seem to have some kind of amnesia. William's this nice guy who was so kind to them, and now they get to be in his establishment forever, and he looks after them, and he's the greatest person ever, but that's actually not the truth. William is incredibly strong. He's fighting Mike, and Mike is being beaten down. He's being taken out. In the background, whilst Vanessa said she wouldn't be able to help Mike and Abby, she actually manages to overcome that first initial thoughts of hers, and she does help Abby by tasering Foxy, shutting him down so she can escape. They both manage to, and it's during this time that Abby realizes what she needs to do. She needs to change the drawing in the middle of this back sort of mural to what really happened. And so she gets sketching away. She draws Spring Bonnie holding this bloodied knife, and the kids all unhappy with, you know, what really went down. He used this knife on them. This seems to be William's preferred method of kill. It was what he did to these children, whose, by the way, bodies are still inside the animatronics. And so Abby sketches really quickly, and she slams this new picture whilst ripping the old one off, showing what happened. And when she does this, a power surge hits these animatronics, and they realize the truth. They were all murdered by this bunny in the costume. Spring Bonnie was the real one who took them out. And when they realized that, oh, they changed, man. And William Afton, he's still got this god complex, man. He's such an arrogant character, like, I created you can't do this to me. It's past reasoning. They already know, like, what's really happening here, and they realize this is who they need to take down. This is who did this to them. And guess what? They go ahead and do it, man. There is a brief squabble between Vanessa and William because obviously she said she can help him, and this is where we learn, you know, William gives this speech to Vanessa about, like, what are you doing here? You know, all you do is you help me keep this under the rug. You help hush this thing, and now you're trying to help me. You're never gonna hurt me. You're never gonna do anything. And then she gets the gun and she shoots a piece of his kind of like abdomen area. I believe this is what exposes the underneath layer, and we can see some spring locks waiting there because he's inside one of the performance suits. Vanessa showing her sort of dominance over William in this situation, you know, trying to stop him from harming Abby and Michael. They get in like an actual conflict with the family, and this is where William, using his famous blade, he stabs his own daughter Vanessa to subdue her and slow her down so she can't actually stop him. Amongst this time with the animatronics and the squabbling, this is where William Afton makes the gravest mistake, and a spring lock failure occurs with an actor inside. And I gotta say, man, they drew this scene out so it's not, you know, the quick thing that we see in the FNAF 3 minigame. We get to experience what a spring lock failure looks like, and it looks awful, man. The pain is unbelievable. And the animatronics gather around, they stand over William whilst he falls to the ground, slumping in pain, holding the new open wound. Mike, seeing his chance to escape where the animatronics learn the true tragedy of what happened to them, he scoops Abby in his arm and he picks up Vanessa and he whisks them out of the establishment. And during this time, we see Springtrap, you know, squirming. He's in more pain as these spring locks fail again and again and again. These animatronics, they know it's what he deserves, so they drag him away out of the main performance area, and they drag him to a back room where they leave him, bro. It was so good, man. It made me cry. I can't lie, bro. I don't know why. Just something about the whole scene was just so emotional. It was just, you know, like, I don't know. You know when you just feel it inside? I was like, I didn't think I'd be crying. I was like, why is this happening? Like, why am I responding like this? I didn't want to respond like this, but that was what was happening. But it's revealed after this point that Mike and his sister Abby, they begin to form this much greater bond. And Vanessa, it seems like she stays some kind of character, I would assume, in their life. William Afton is now, he has become Springtrap. He is no longer there is no longer a Spring Bonnie performer suit, so the change has happened. He's one with the suit, and he hits the famous line, bro, before he gets dragged off, that I will always come back, and I was just like, ah. So he ain't done, man. He ain't done with this thing, but there's a kind of happy ending, you know. Mike seems to be figuring his life out. He lets go of the past, realizing he can't change what happened to Garrett. He's met the killer, and the killer has gotten his just desserts, and now he needs to move forward and focus on Abby. Stop being angry at her, you know, form this loving bond with her, and it seems like that's where the movie ends. They're all moving in the right direction. Vanessa's recovering in the hospital. Hopefully she'll be fine, and, you know, it ends as sort of a happy ending. So that's basically the rundown of the story with some of my thoughts. I didn't think I'd be drawing this out so much, bro. I am shocked I've speak this much, but I guess it just goes to show how much is on my mind. Now, though, I want to talk about some smaller details about this whole story. I've got some notes down here. I don't know if I'll cover them all. One of the first things is, like, the Abby suit of choice, to where she was going to get stuffed. It was kind of like, you know, a bit different to what I was expecting. It's kind of what made me think, do the children's souls, or the children when they're taken out in this thing, do, you know, they respond differently? It could be that William, you know, has had this, you know, thing going on. He killed the kids, and he was just taking out, you know, like, security guards. So it was just to get the kills, and he just had to keep that side of him going. He's a psychopath, bro. He just wants to keep going. When a kid is involved, though, it seems like there's more priority over the suit of choice, where he really wants to make sure it's a suit that he's gonna know, and he almost wants to kill these kids maybe when they're still alive, so he can salvage some form of, like, life. Maybe the remnant comes into play, something like that. I'm not really sure. So I'm not sure if the souls of the children, they possess these suits, because it does feel like the security guards and the other people, once they're killed, like the adults, they're kind of just discarded to the side. They serve no purpose other than a quick kill for this dude, and that's pretty much the gist of it. So maybe the children do have a more purposeful role in this whole thing. Also, the suit choice, this, I believe it's the Ella doll from the book series. That's the one that we see. It's creepy and it's messed up, and I wonder if William chose that doll for a specific, or the animatronic for a specific reason, because it would have made more sense maybe for like an old Fredbear suit or something like that to get stuffed inside of. But again, that's not really elaborated on, so that could be, you know, some small hint that this would have served a different purpose if this Ella doll was used. Maybe it was something for William. I don't really know. Also, there's a lot about Garrett, Mike's younger brother, that wasn't covered. Obviously, we know how he was taken by William Afton, but we don't know or see anything else about him, so I don't really know what else can happen here. Like, we do actually see Garrett speak in one of Mike's flashbacks, which the dude sounds so cute, by the way. It was adorable. But I do wonder if the souls have seen Garrett at some point, because they know what he looks like, what he sounds like, and they can create this thing in his head. So maybe Garrett was able to communicate with the spirits. It doesn't feel like they're going to discard Garrett entirely from this plot. Maybe the first movie wasn't so important, but Garrett could serve a greater purpose in one of the future ones. He may be like the puppet. Like, we might learn that Garrett is stuffed in a more important animatronic. The puppet could definitely be the one that sticks out, or some other really important character in the plot. It does seem, though, as also that when Garrett was taken, you know, no names, I said before, the family was revealed, but Mike's dad kind of went crazy trying to maybe seek the truth or something. I'm not sure if the dad is still alive, I will say that, but it's not explained anything about, like, the father's name is not dropped at any point during any of this. Could it be Henry, you know, someone who's got this contact with William at some point in time? We already know, you know, Henry and William, they did work hand in hand with the animatronics, the establishments and things like that, so it could be that he's going to be revealed as Henry as his name, which would be very interesting if so. And I wonder what that would do for the story. Like, is Henry still alive? Is he still out there? And also, we don't know anything about Mike's mother. I don't believe there was any discussion about her in the slightest. Like, maybe she serves a greater purpose, and we don't know anything about who she could be or what future plotline she might serve. One thing I will say as well is it was kind of different hearing William in the movie speak so freely. We're used to kind of hearing him, you know, he's got this sinister voice. He's a man he's got this evil, almost James Bond villain like plot behind the scenes. You can just imagine him sitting there, you know, he's got his fingers on a desk as he's watching all this go down. Instead, he was this crazy, quirky, sadistic, hyperactive, eccentric killer who, once he, you know, met Mike, obviously, I think he knew based on Mike's last name when he was helping him with the interview process. I assume that's like a kind of a fake job he does, just something so he can maybe lure people, you know, be like, oh yeah, I've got a security gig for you. You want to work there? And then he goes and kills them. When he saw Mike Schmidt as a second name, and he knew he took Garrett Schmidt from a younger age, it's like his face kind of lit up. He knew he had to lure Mike, and it would be the ultimate family reunion to kill Mike as well. But yeah, the arrogance in his voice when he was sort of, you know, beating Mike down, he was sort of like, you know, I'm above you, you're never gonna get above me, before obviously Abby goes ahead and saves the day by showing the animatronics what he truly is like. It was a different approach. It was kind of cool, and I'm excited to see, you know, like Matthew Lillard's villain role also progress through this, like in the Springtrap costume once all is said and done, because the I Will Always Come Back, we already know, like, there's more movies lined up, man. It certainly feels like it. They're definitely teasing it. I can't can't wait for the future, bro. Like, as I said, I was watching the movie, I'm not even joking. One of the muscles up here in my face kind of started to spasm, and I woke up with, like, kind of cramp in this area because I was grinning so much in the movie. I was kind of like, I had to literally pull my face down because I would not stop smiling at everything that was going on. It was for me, it was so wonderful to see. The movie wasn't a one-for-one kind of translation, and I don't think it needed to be. Like, it wouldn't have translated great into cinema. You know, in the game, we just sit in an office for 6 hours, but this just opened up the world, man. There is so much more going on. This is what we don't get to see in the games, right? We get this teased in the mini games and stuff, but in this, we actually see it all go down. It's very surreal. I still can't believe, like, you know, the FNAF movie exists. I remember sitting down, I was like, oh my gosh, we're gonna watch a movie on this thing, man. It's like, it's crazy. Extremely excited for the future of the movie series, and also whatever Scott chooses to work on next. It feels like, and it's so weird to say this because we had the kind of, you know, FNAF hype, and it's like, it leveled up, but there was always a great community. But this, man, this is just gonna skyrocket the FNAF franchise into oblivion. Everyone is gonna know about this thing. Everyone's gonna talk about this thing, man. It's so cool, man. It's so sick, and I'm so proud to have been a part of, like, just the community from the beginning, like, involved with the theories. And yeah, I couldn't be more ecstatic to finally get to watch this thing, and I really hope everyone enjoys it. I know, like, the FNAF fans, they are gonna absolutely adore this thing. There we go, though, guys. That was my discussion. I didn't realize I was gonna talk this much. I ain't gonna lie, I was on the way back. I was like, man, can I even get this to 8 minutes? Nah, bro, you can get it to like 30+ minutes. That was fun, though, man. I just sat down, I started just talking about the theories. The old days were just rushing back to me, and I'm probably gonna keep this, like, as just a mostly cut-based video. I wanted to discuss everything. I want you guys to sort of hear the entirety of the plot. I did warn you there was gonna be spoilers, and this movie just is gonna spark some new ideas, and I think theories definitely in people's heads. There's a whole new world here, and I guarantee there's gonna be clues in the books, in the old games, that now when we look at them with a fresh pair of eyes after seeing this, we can make some, like, you know, exclusive links to stuff like that, and I'm excited to see what those may be. Which, by the way, let me know down below, guys, that if you see this movie, I gotta read those theories, man. I'm so excited to just hear what you guys want to say about this thing, and the FNAF spark is it's definitely happening to me. I think I'm gonna start playing FNAF games a bit more again. Yeah, I just absolutely adore this franchise, bro. It's like, yeah, I may dip away, play other games, but this is always my central point. Like, when I consider my career, it's always comes back to Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'm so glad about that too, man. It's like, it's such a great franchise to be associated with, and I'm so proud that just I've got to where I have. I know, like, you know, it's like the franchise is up there, but bro, I'm just happy to be a part of this community, and I'm just thankful that all of you guys exist and allow me to be a part. I continually watch my stuff over the years. You know, people come and go, but it's always remained a constant, guys. I'm so appreciative, and I appreciate all of you so much. All right, though, guys, that's going to be it for this one. This was a great discussion. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy this thing, and looking forward to seeing what you all say about this thing, too. Maybe there'll be some follow-up videos, because I'm just so excited, and I want to hear those theories. And I'm going to talk about them in my free time, and I know it. But if you guys did enjoy this video, why not drop me that like rate? And hey, if you're new around here, why not subscribe for more videos just like this one right here? I got a point on myself. There was nothing I really showed other than me. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you did enjoy, and go ahead and enjoy the movie, guys. And if you've watched it already and you're just coming back to check this thing out, hopefully you had a great time watching it.